What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another haircut tutorial. This is your friend Con Chung from Concept Barbershop. Today we'll be doing a light trim on top with a mid-ball fade. I like to wet my client's hair before I start the haircut just to make it easier to manage and to see what I'm working with. Here I'm using the cordless master with the fade blade to make the ball line, and I take the ball line halfway and I do it again on the other side, and I meet the two lines in the back of the head. The reason for this is so that I can try to keep my lines level to each other. Here I open up the clipper just a little bit before I take down the hair. I do this to keep my clipper from irritating the skin on the lower neck area. Right here I'm using the Phillips Norelco to ball out the hair. Again, I like this machine because it's quiet, it's smooth, and it doesn't leave ball lines that are impossible to blend out. When you apply pressure, it takes it down to the skin. When you loosen up on the pressure towards the ball line, it leaves a little bit of hair. This way you can blend and not see the ball line. Here I'm taking the side down with a number 2 guard. My client prefers the side to be a little bit darker. You can take down the side to whatever you feel is best. And I'm also using the comb to separate the longer hair from the shorter hair, just so I don't accidentally cut the longer hair, because you can eventually move up the side of his hair higher and higher if you're not careful. So that's why I use the comb to separate the two hair. Right here I'm flicking out as I go up towards the crown of the head, and I'm also moving the front of his hair out the way. Here I have the clipper all the way open, and I'm creating my first guideline, and it's about 1 inch high, and I'll take this all around the head. As you notice, I'm holding down the ear just so my clipper doesn't irritate the ear. You want to keep your client comfortable. That's my first guideline. Now I'm using the number 1 guard all the way closed, and again I'm going up about another inch. Be sure to brush down the skin so that you can really see what you're working with. Sometimes hair gets stuck on the skin. Right here I have the clipper all the way closed, and I'm blending up about 1/4 of the way, and I'm moving all around the head, and as I reach the other side I'll open up my clipper about 1/4 of the way, and I'll do this back and forth until I'm fully open with the clipper. Just know that by the time you reach the top of your first guideline, you want to be fully open with your clipper. If you notice right here, I'm going in a circular motion. This helps me create my blend. I notice when you go up and down with the clipper, it's better for taking down the hair because it also creates more lines. But if you go in a circular motion, it helps you blend out the line. And right here I'm doing touch-up work. After every guideline, every guard, I go back and I check for dark spots, and I remove them. I find it easier to do it this way so that you don't forget what guard you were using. So I like to do touch-up work 1 guideline at a time. And again, it's the same technique. I have the clipper all the way closed. I have the next guard on, which in this case is the 0 guard, and I'm going in circular motion up about 1/4 of the way all around the head, and then I open up the clipper 1/4 of the way and I work it back, and I do this back and forth until I'm fully open. And by the time I'm fully open, I want to be at my second guideline. It's the same technique for every guard, every guideline. And again, after I finish up with this guard, I'll go back to do my touch-up work. Here I have the next guard up, which in this case is the number 1 guard. And again, I'm using the circular motion to help me blend out the hair. And I'm working this up about 1/4 of the way all around the head. I open up the clipper 1/4 of the way and I work it back. And I do this back and forth until I'm fully open. And towards this area right here, you want to lighten up on your pressure and you want to flick out even more, because you have a little bit of room to work with. You don't want to create more guidelines. You don't want to continue to raise up that fade too high. Here I'm using the scissor to trim the top a little bit, and if you notice, I'm placing the comb right on his head and I'm holding it in place with my thumb. I find this easier on my hand. Most of the time barbers hold the comb in between their thumb and their index finger, but I noticed that my hand would cramp up after a while. So I find it more relaxed, more natural for my hand to just place the comb on the head and hold it with my thumb. Right here I'm trimming the side of the head. If you notice, my middle finger is slightly above my index finger, and I'm using my middle finger as a placeholder for my scissors. This way I would never cut my finger. I place my scissor touching my middle finger and the tip of the scissor pointing up and away from my knuckle. This way you will never cut your finger. Right here I'm doing this because I'm taking down the bulk of the hair. I'm taking down the weight of the hair. And then I'm gonna do it again, but up a little bit higher, just so you can create a blend and take down some of the weight of the hair. Use your middle finger as a placeholder and point your scissors up and away from your knuckle. This way you will never cut your finger. To get the dark line towards the lower part of the bulk of the hair, you want to use the clipper over comb technique, because this you can control the little hair that you can't cut with the scissors. You keep doing this until you feel that the blend is nice and smooth. Here I'm gonna go ahead and work on his beard. I'll do another video in the future more in depth on how to fade the beard, but here I'll just speed through it. Fading the beard is similar to fading the haircut, it's just you're moving downwards. But as far as opening the clipper and using the guards, it's the same idea. It's just in reverse. I switched over to the slim line to do this part. My slim line aren't zero gap all the way, so they're more comfortable on sensitive area of the skin. Here I'm using the Wahl SideKick. I like this because I zero gapped it all the way, and I like to get tighter lines with these. But you be sure to not make the line to focus too much on making the line sharp with your trimmers, because it can irritate the skin. Your straight razor will help you get your lines sharp. This is like creating the rough draft, and the final draft is with the straight razor. This is just to give you an idea of what it will look like. Again, I'm going back to the slim line for the neck area because that's a very sensitive area. Clients tend to get irritated skin at that area. My client didn't want a full lineup, so we'll just do the corner for him and also give him a hard part. Again, I'm using the comb to separate the longer hair from the shorter hair. Right here I'm just getting the top line of the hard part, and then when I switch the trimmer upside down, I can get the bottom part of the line. And I will straight razor this later. Again, I find this very important to trim the side of the hair, the side of the head, because a lot of time after the haircut there'll be hair that's sticking out the side of the head. And this is what I was talking about earlier, about getting your straight razor to give you the sharp lineups. Be sure to stretch out the skin. Keep the skin tight, makes it easier for your straight razor to glide. Thank you so much, you guys. If you have any question, please comment and I will answer them. Thank you so much.